Hi, Ben Curry again, the short sale professor, and I wanted to talk about how to escalate the file. I've had a lot of real estate agents ask me, Ben, how do you escalate a file? And to be honest with you, I heard everybody say, you got to escalate the file to get them approved, but I didn't know what you did do to escalate the file. So here's what happens. Let's say you've got a property and you're at a dead end. For example, if I didn't know any better about BPOs and what percentage of BPOs the bank would take, I would have been at a dead end with this file. We had a house we were selling. The buyers offered $200,000. The net was like $171,000. Property came back with a BPO of $220,000. 75% of that, it was a Fannie Mae file, it was $165,000. So I knew they'll take this offer. Now the negotiator countered at like $206,000. She said, we got to net this number. And I told her, look, we don't have to net that number. Here's what we need to net. She said, okay, great. So we got the file approved. But the point is, if I hadn't known any better, and we had been at a dead end with a buyer that's not willing to pay more, a house that ain't selling for more money, and a negotiator that won't take those offers, you'd be at a dead end. So what do? You escalate the file. And you can even escalate files within a certain extent to get them approved, even when they don't meet those BPO requirements. But after you escalate them, they're usually going to have to order a new BPO to make sure they go through. So if you've got a file and you're at a dead end, here's what you do. You've got to escalate it. First things, you want to get a new BPO. So a new BPO will enable you to, number one, sell the property at a more decent valuation, and because the BPO is lower, your percentage that you have to net them goes lower as well. But a lot of times, so let's say you're at a dead end. First off, you can ask the negotiator to order a new BPO. A lot of times they'll say, this is the BPO, this is all we can do. So you say, okay, can I talk to your supervisor? So you always want to talk to a supervisor. A lot of times they'll tell you, no, I won't let you talk to a supervisor. Or what will happen is, instead of referring you to a supervisor, they will start doing a better job on your file. I had that happen on recently. We were at a dead end. The property was selling. We had it listed for $165,000. Our prior BPO had been $195,000. It was Freddie Mac. We got an offer at $159,000. The net was not going to work to hit the numbers that Freddie Mac wanted under their guidelines. So I knew I needed a new BPO. So I escalated the file, asked her, who's your supervisor? She didn't tell me who her supervisor was. Obviously, she thought she'd get in trouble or something. And then I sent her comps, said, look, the real value of this property is probably closer to $165,000, not the $195,000 you originally had. She said, okay. She agreed. They ordered a new BPO. It took about a month and a half to turn around to do all this stuff. But bottom line, we got the short sale done with those comps and the lower price. Other times, you'll ask for the supervisor. Usually, you just send them an email. And usually you say, you're doing a great job. I don't have a problem with working with you. I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere on this file with you. Can you put me in touch with your supervisor? Who's your supervisor? Sometimes they won't tell you. So what do? You then? You call the 800 number. You call like whatever the normal short sale phone call-in number is for that particular bank, and you ask them, okay, so you got the person on board. You say, all right, I'm working with Lori James. And Lori James, I'm just not getting anywhere with her. She's the negotiator. She's doing a good job, but I'm just not getting anywhere. What can I do? Who's her supervisor? That person will oftentimes say, okay, our supervisor is Bob Jones. Okay, great. What's Bob Jones' email? Okay, they'll give you the email. What's his phone number? They may or may not give you the phone number. Boom. You can email Bob and say, Bob, I'm at a dead end. Property's not selling for any more money. Here's my own BPO, and it shows the property's only worth $165,000, not $195,000, blah, blah, blah. Please help me out here. I'm not getting anywhere. My short sale calculator shows they're going to lose more money, so on and so forth. Here's one other thing you got to be aware of. Before I escalated files, I was scared. What if I piss them off? What if they throw my file away? What if I make the negotiator angry at me? I'm going to be toast. My file is going to be toast. So I don't want to escalate because they might get mad. So what I didn't realize is they don't get mad. People are escalating files every single day. This happens to them all the time. Maybe in that one case, she didn't want to get escalated. I don't think she would have gotten any trouble, that one negotiator that didn't escalate. But still, I got my goal done. She started to do a better job. Her email turnaround times, it used to be if I'd send her an email, it'd take 4 days to get a response. Instead, now my emails will get a response that same day or the next morning if I was sending it late afternoon. So, escalate the file, call up the 800 number, ask them in the email, call them, fax them, do whatever you need to do. Sometimes also, if you're dealing with a specific negotiator, you need a question. For example, we had a property that was closing. All of a sudden, we found out the loan's ready to go. We can close tomorrow. I had to get my HUD approved before we could close though. So I submitted the HUD. It was a Thursday. We closed Friday. I said, guys, just go ahead and close. It meets all the guidelines. Our HUD wasn't approved though. And then it ended up taking longer. And it was a big rigmarole where they wouldn't get back to me just for closing. When you think, proving HUD, you got to be able to do that pretty fast, because sometimes these lenders are just getting to where we can get the loan done, we have some problems, they have some problems, and boom, all of a sudden your loan's approved for the new buyer. So in that particular case, what will happen is if you just send an email, maybe you'll get a response, maybe it'll take 4 days. But if you send an email, leave a voicemail, and send a fax, you're going to get a response. So that's some of the things that you can do if you're at a dead end with files. There's different stuff. You just got to learn to be creative and think and say, what do I got to do to get this file approved so it makes more sense, it seems more reasonable, and this negotiator can accept it. So if you got any more questions, more specific questions on how to escalate files, go to my blog, put them in there, and I'll see if I can answer them in my next video.